Oh, hello again and welcome to the VK6CS Fun with Amateur Radio channel. I'm afraid this vision looks a little noisy because it's 20 past 9 in the evening, pitch black outside, and I've got artificial lighting. Still, let's persevere. Let's just see how it goes. Okay, now I've shaved a millimetre off the front panel on one side, straightened the edge up, so it all looks nice. So now, when I put that on there, that fits like a glove. I can't get the camera down there to show you, but that fits very nicely indeed. So that's all good. That front panel's a goer. I can cut the holes for the meters and the switches. Now the other panel that Al did for me is absolutely spot on. If I can get this off now, I've taken the bolts out. It's always a lot easier to take apart when the thing is not bolted together, of course. Having said that, it's going to make a liar of me. Back panel fits fine, so it's slowly but surely coming together. So now on the inside, I don't know if you can see that actually. I've got the here's the other panel that Al cut for me. This one is absolutely spot on. Now, because the panel's not quite tall enough to go from the bottom to the top, I'm going to use some angled aluminium to actually lift that off the bottom. So there'll be angled aluminium at the top, angled aluminium at the bottom, angled aluminium at each side, on each side vertically, going from the top to the bottom, so that will be held firmly in place. You can probably see, I hope, got the HT transformer in here. It's just sitting in here at the moment, just for positioning. So this screen will go about there. The small transformers, like the filament transformer here, I've forgotten I'd lashed it up to provide 6 volts AC to the timer relay, but that will go on here, and the other 2 small transformers that I showed you earlier on earlier videos will also mount on the inside of this plate. Then this is the HT board. Got the brackets on the bottom of that, you can probably see there, to hold that to the bottom. That will then bolt at the correct distance from the screen, like that, and over there like that, and that will be the power supply part of it finished, with the screen bolted in place. There'll be a couple of holes in the screen for the cabling to go through for the heaters, for the relay supply, and of course for the HT, for the valve. Here is, I still haven't trimmed up the wires yet on the plate volts meter, but that won't be trimmed up till it goes in the on the actual panel. There's the load capacitor there, and that's the plate load capacitor. Plate tune capacitor, it's the same size, it will sit directly on top of that. They'll both be raised up a bit, maybe on these things, maybe just on brackets. I might use these to support the tank coil. Haven't quite decided yet. I've got 2 of these rather nice insulators. Then it's just a case of switching relays here, a box here with a little tuned input circuit, the tank coil here, plonk the valve in, and away she goes. Well, hopefully anyway. So that's what it's looking like at the moment. As I say, this still looks ratty because it's this is just where it was sort of prototyped, really. Just a bit of ratty wiring in there just to make sure it would do what I wanted it to do. The HT board's finished. That's as tidy as that's going to get. Obviously I'll take those off and put the correct wiring on there. But the capacitors and the resistors are all as they will be in the finished amplifier. And remember, the once this is all screened off, this section here is going to be the power supply. So the front panel on here, this section of the front panel between the screen and the side here, is going to have the power supply behind it. So that's where the 3 meters will be. There'll be 3 meters there. Plate volts, plate current, grid current, plate volts. 3 switches below that, which will be on off, HT on, and operate. Then there'll just be the load, the tune, the band switch, and then the input tune. Just 2 knobs down there for input tune, and that should be it. Now, as you can see, this valve base here, this will actually be a little lower because the valve base and the airbox are not seated down onto the chassis as they will be. But this valve base is absolutely amazing stuff. This, I tell you what, people might knock this Russian gear as looking antique, but I tell you what, if it was a nuclear war, there'd only be 2 organisations on the air. One would be the Russian military, and the other would be VK6CS, because I'm using a Russian tube and a Russian valve base. Indestructible. Alright, well, I hope you found that interesting, and many thanks to Al for doing a good job with my panels and saving me an awful lot of cutting and filing. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll catch you next time.